Hello, everybody. Back from a few weeks off in New York where I was living in the degenerate economy, not necessarily doing my weekly show here on This Week in the Degenerate Economy. But let's hop back into it. I always start with my index. I find it the picks and shovels, the profitable businesses, the exciting speculative ideas around the degenerate economy. Still up 150. We're in a bear market. And we're in a bear market, not for the whole market. We're in a bear market for degeneracy, which I'll dive into. But the index is still up 156% versus 78% for the QQQ over a couple of years. Why? The main reason we're outperforming has been 3 or 4 stocks. Now it's Google. It's our number one position. We all know the story. Gemini 3 is out. I think people are starting to realize that the cost of AI is a thing. And Google, soup to nuts, is with Gemini 3, really kind of controls the stack. And along with their distribution with Apple, the creep is in. Google is gaining market share on OpenAI. Dribs and drabs, but it's for real. Elsewhere in the portfolio, much smaller positions. I'm not excited about new ideas here. I've been writing about the fact that the degenerate economy is crowded and kind of oversupplied. And we'll get into it right now. Let's pull up the first chart. An exciting thing for the degenerates, they have a new toy, short selling. Do they need it? Do the markets need it? Absolutely. The markets need short sellers. And so fantastic for the Utes and for the Robinhood people to have access to short selling. Use it wisely. It won't be used wisely for the most part, but I think it's important. Big step for Robinhood and a big step for the degenerate economy. Moo Moo. I was riding the subway with my daughter for a couple of weeks in New York. And these are things I say you don't see at a market bottom, right? Moomoo is a Chinese brokerage. I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure it's got all the bells and whistles that you need to blow up your account or buy Google. And I think this is what caught my attention. First of all, they got a picture of Einstein. I have no idea why. Secondly, you can get up to $1,000 on Nvidia stock. I don't know. Okay, I'm sure the fine print is what, but why Nvidia all of a sudden? Now everybody's giving you Nvidia. And then the other thing, which I can't believe, is 8.1% cash management. So I think this is more a sign of a top than a bottom, and that's my point there. And they're spending a fortune, Moomoo, to do this, and they're like the 10th broker in. So I'm wary of people being marketed to on a subway after this incredible run. Euphoria. I mean, who doesn't need an app that trades options and crypto and perps called Euphoria? If this, again, I'm not calling it top. I'm saying these are things you don't see at the bottom. So again, more toys for more degeneracy. Funny, maybe useful, but definitely not something you see at the bottom. And I'm wary of all this frothy activity. I wrote this today from everything that I've been seeing and watching the price action, why the crypto bear market is accelerating, actually, unfortunately, and why it makes sense. And have a read. My main thesis here is that eventually the negligence, the endless supply, the insider grifts, the silly speculation around assets at inflated valuations with no specific use case is now coming home to roost. And the question is how long this lasts for. And this is the hardest part of a bear market. And this bear market is only really in crypto and in alternatives right now to crypto and the shit coins. The real question is, does this spread? So far, Nvidia near all-time highs, Palantir near all-time highs. Robinhood is obviously down 30%. So obviously we're starting to see it. Coinbase down 40%. And so the question is, does this spill over to the Amazons, the Googles, and the Apples, which stayed near all-time highs? Okay, so this is something to keep an eye on right now. This cracks me up. NVIDIA's reporting earnings this afternoon. So I'm taping the show on a Wednesday. You'll probably see it on a Thursday. So NVIDIA will have already reported. Sophie had a hilarious a tweet here. SoftBank came out, said they're selling Nvidia. They're staking Nvidia, which again, massive win, huge kudos. A fart on a fly's ass in the scope of the size of a $4.5 trillion Nvidia at this point. But I think Sophie captures the zeitgeist of the silliness here and the intercompany activity. It's selling its Nvidia stake to fund companies whose main expense is buying from Nvidia. So, the joke is, hey, sell my Nvidia to invest in other companies that are buying chips from Nvidia. I think Sophie's saying, why the hell bother selling your Nvidia if you're going to be on both sides of it? So pretty funny. Kudos, Sophie. I think the market, based on the activity on the Nvidia stream on StockTwits, there's just so much anticipation of this earnings. And I love that. And I hate that. I love it in the sense that everybody's aware that this is an important earnings. I think most people believe they're going to blow away the numbers because that's what they've been telling you, that demand is crazy. And I think people will be disappointed. I don't think much will happen immediately after Nvidia. And I'm really worried if something does because people aren't pricing that in. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you next week on the Degenerate Economy.